All right, what is up, everybody? We are back again. We are back again. We are back again. I feel like I've said it a couple times. I know it's been a little break here, but 2, 3 months at this point. But welcome back. It's Dave's R&R rambles and reviews with your host here, Dave. And today we're in the midst of the summer. Been busy. A lot of people have been busy, I'm sure. I've got a new series I want to start today. It's about summer movies. Each episode is going to have two movies, something that I kind of thought about each movie. I'm going to give my rating on the movie, a quick review, but maybe a theme of the movies. I guess I'll put it like that. Something the movies I felt had in common that I just want to discuss. The first one today is two movies that kicked us off in the summer. It's going to be Fast X and Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. Two movies. We've got Fast X, longtime Fast and Furious fan. We've got Spider-Man, was a big fan of the first one, and now the second one came out, both sequels. But one thing that I thought kind of was in common with these movies, and I made a post about it, and I want to get into that some more, is that they both had really abrupt cliffhanger endings. I want to get into detail on that because I made a post about it when I saw the two movies. I saw Fast X one day, the very next day saw Spider-Man Across the Universe. I couldn't believe how abrupt both cliffhangers were in each of these movies. So we'll start off with Fast X here. I mean, you saw Dom and his son being in trouble at the end. It looked like the bridge was going to blow up. It kind of cut away from them, and we saw another Gail Gadot random appearance. It seems like she's just popping up everywhere for like 5 seconds in movies, just randomly CGI'd in. This one was as CGI'd as possible, and boom, credits roll. That's that. And then we take it to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, where it gets revealed that Miles is in the wrong universe. He's been captured by the Miles Morales of the universe that he is in. Gwen put a team together to come rescue him, and boom, cut, cliffhanger. And there's a big difference between these and cliffhangers in the past, and I kind of want to get into that. When I made the post, a lot of people said, oh, this movie's been a cliffhanger before, that movie's been a cliffhanger before. Yeah, I know there's been plenty of movies that have been cliffhangers in the history of movies. But I just feel like I haven't seen one as abrupt as this one. Like, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I have to go back and rewatch a couple movies. But say, like, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, that's one that got mentioned a lot. I really don't feel like it was just so abrupt. Like, I feel like it was still self-contained in the movie, but I don't remember it just cutting like that. And I feel like that doesn't happen too often. It really felt like both movies had another gear that needed to be kicked in to the end, and it didn't get that ending. And the biggest comparison for me, I feel like Hollywood might start doing this because we are going to start seeing more part ones of movies and part twos of movies. I know Fast X was originally supposed to be a part one, and now there might be two more. Across the Spider-Verse has been part one, and Beyond the Spider-Verse is part two. I know that's been kind of 50-50 shot of who knew that and who didn't know that. And, say we've got Mission Impossible coming out here soon, part one. And I feel like the big reason studios are starting to do these part one and part two movies is because of what Marvel did with the Avengers. Marvel did Infinity War, and then a couple years later did Endgame. While they were two different named movies, they were essentially part one and part two of the finale of that wave of the Avengers. So I feel like a lot of movies that are hidden into the final gear, they want to do this part one, part two to capitalize on it now, which is fair enough. I mean, if you need two movies to tell a story, go ahead, break it down into two movies. But I think one thing that Avengers did was you can watch each movie. It has a beginning, a middle, and an ending. You can watch Infinity War by itself without watching Endgame, and it has its own conclusion, while still setting up what's to come next. Same with Endgame. Had a good beginning, middle, end. And I don't like these abrupt endings because of that. I really feel like you need to give the story in the movie an ending that's at least satisfying, while leaving more for the next one. I feel like Spider-Man, maybe it could have ended a little earlier. Fast X maybe could have ended a little earlier, a little later. Add 10 minutes, cut 10 minutes. But I just feel like both of them were such abrupt endings. I didn't leave the theater satisfied. And I feel like we're getting a lot of split consensus on this. So definitely sound off on the social media after the post about this on what you think. I just feel like movies have to have that concise ending. You can still have an ending while leaving room for the part two. And that's something that disappointed me about both movies. Maybe it's because I saw them back to back nights, but it even kind of marked down the rating of Spider Man Across the Universe for me. Not that it marked it down in a crazy amount, but I just feel like if it had a different ending, maybe something more just than boom, black screen, Across the Spider-Verse, Beyond the Spider-Verse, sorry, will be next. I just feel like it needed a little more substance for me. Going into the ratings, that was my rant. We're going to go in the quick review ratings in the movies. Fast X, kind of just like every Fast and Furious movie for the past couple at this point. You know what you're getting into when you go into the theater or when you put it on TV. You know you're going to get crazy action. You know you're going to get action that's not necessarily realistic, very over the top, some okay acting, some beautiful shot action scenes. You're going to have a fun time. Some people like it, some people don't. That's fair at this point. I'm on the boat where I do like the Fast and Furious movies. Yeah, it has changed so much. It's pretty much done a 180 since what it was originally. But I'm a sucker for these popcorn action flicks, especially in the summertime. So I left Fast X. I thought, besides the abrupt ending, overall it was a great movie. I thought Jason Momoa was as good of as a villain as could be. And honestly, in the DC universe, if they want to do some, like, multiverse stuff that I know a lot of stuff, comic book stuff is getting into these days, I wouldn't hate him playing a Joker for, like, maybe a couple minutes of a movie or something. I thought he did his best Joker impression of this movie. He was a crazy, over-the-top villain, and it worked really well. He did an awesome job with that. I thought all the action scenes were fun in this movie. There were a lot of funny lines. Now, of course, there's a ceiling with all that with these Fast and Furious movies, but overall, I had a great time in the movie theater with that one. You can stream it now, so I definitely would recommend streaming it. If you do like the Fast and Furious movies, I give it a very solid 7 out of 10. It's not going to be any mind-blowing cinema, but it is a very enjoyable movie. And now for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, it just kept building from an awesome first movie. The animation was so well done, this one going from all the different universes, the characters appearing in the different universes, how they looked animated-wise in the other universe. There were a lot of surprises in this one, some good cameos. Overall, the story of Miles and Gwen in this one was great. Storytelling-wise, everything was amazing. Just about as much as you could ask for in not just an animated superhero animated comic book movie, but an animated movie in general. This movie, so far, it has been my highest rated movie of the summer. It comes in at 9.25. Honestly, it could have been 9.75, 9.5, but I just hated that abrupt ending in it. 9.25, still an amazing score, one I highly recommend for everyone, even if you're not necessarily a fan of animated movies. It's just so beautifully well done. One of my favorite movies I've seen this year altogether, and I don't know if it will be topped. We'll see. There's some other movies coming up, but so far it's at the top. And that'll be it for part 1 of our summer movie series. We kind of broke down Fast X and Spider-Man Across the Universe with quick reviews, and you heard my little rant on how I feel about how they had such abrupt cliffhanger endings. Thank you for checking us out. Follow on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Dave's R&R. I'm really going to try to keep posting content as much as possible. I've been getting some good feedback on the TikToks, on the Reels, on that kind of thing. We've been talking a lot of movies. Wrestling Wednesday's a big hit. Had a UFC post a lot of people seem to be liking. So thank you for all the support. Stay tuned. Everybody have a great weekend. Have a great week. Thanks for listening.